Hello, everybody. How are you doing tonight? Let me bring it up on my laptop as people come in and everything so I can see comments. How's everybody doing on this Friday evening? So tonight we're doing a true crime story. I'm so excited about this one. I've been wanting to do this one for a while. I'm going to wait for people to come in. So before I get started. Anyway, let me take my makeup off. Hello, welcome. How are you doing tonight? Are you having a good Friday night? Are you doing good? Hello, welcome. How are you doing? Whoever is on here, hope you're doing good tonight. I'm going to take my makeup off and then we'll get started on the story. So tonight we are going to do the Chris Watts story and Shanann Watts and talk about that whole story. Yeah. How is everybody doing tonight? Are you guys doing good? Are you having a good evening? Did you have a good day? Hello, welcome in. How are you guys doing tonight? I am just taking my makeup off from work today as you guys are coming in and we get more people in the chat. How are you? Hello, welcome in. How are you guys doing tonight? Hello, everybody doing good tonight? How are you guys doing? Hey, Bird's Nest, how are you? Good to see you. Are you having a good Friday evening? Hello. Hey, Metal Music, how are you? Hey, Bobby, how are you? I am doing good. I'm doing good. Had a pretty good day at work. Excited to come on here and playing some makeup. You know, tell a good story. I'm sure you could hear the dog running down the stairs. You know. So, anybody have any good things happen today? Yeah, it was a pretty good day. I was busy all day. It's a busy day at the salon, which is good. It makes it go by a lot faster when you're busy. Which I'd rather be busy. I hate it when it's slow and just kind of drags on and on. You know? Hey, Freddie, how are you? How are you doing? You're reorganizing your makeup. That's awesome. I need to like clean my station, like my makeup thing. Like it's a mess. Like I reorganize it, I get it cleaned, and then I do a couple of looks, and then it gets all messy again. It's like you can't keep it cleaned, you know? At all. Like, anyway. So, tonight's story, I kind of already said that I think there's not very many people in here. So, like, I'm going to say it again. So, tonight's story is Chris Watts and Shanann Watts, and about their two girls, Cece Watts and Bella Watts. Does anybody remember that story when it happened? Anybody? Oh, your Jacqueline Hill order comes tomorrow. Yeah, that's exciting. I would be super excited. Does anybody remember the Chris Watts and Shanann Watts story? And it's also been on Netflix. So has anybody seen that documentary on Netflix? Anybody? Before we get started? And, I'll do a little Well, thank you for coming in. Freddie, it's good to see you. It was super sad what happened to them. And we'll kind of, yeah. Yeah. And I just, he's just like, he was he's horrible. I mean, we'll get into all of that. And let me know your guys' thoughts, like, throughout. Like, what you think of him, like, what you think of the story, what you think of her. And, like, she had, like, a really strong presence on Facebook. Like, she still has, like, a Facebook page that, like, you can, like, go and see. Like, now it's, like, a tribute page. Oh, I'm blurry? Maybe it's just my camera. Is that better? Because it could just be. I don't think it doesn't look blurry. When I look on my laptop, it doesn't look blurry. Yeah. Anybody else thinks that I look blurry? Or is it? Because it's. Okay. It's just. Okay. All right. All right. So, Chris Watts was married to Shanann Watts. And I should have wrote this down, like, when they got married and everything. I should have wrote that down, but I wrote more about, like, what happened to them, not like the backstory as much. Like, the discovery is where I got most of my information from, which, oh my gosh, the discovery had over 1,000 pages. It was freaking long, just so you know. So, so Chris Watts was No, they didn't meet in high school. She was married beforehand to somebody else, and then she had a rough divorce, and then she met him. Like, he friended her on Facebook, and she just like, all right, I have plenty of friends on Facebook, and she didn't actually think they were going to like be friends for that long, and she's like, all right, and then he just kind of kept on. They kept on talking and talking, and then, you know, and he kind of met her at like a bad time because she was diagnosed with lupus, and it was like the worst time in her life because she was really sick with that, and he was with her through all that, and he supported her, and she's, if he can meet her through the worst part of her in her life, then he was a great guy, and her family was really, in their wedding video, they were like, oh, he's the best guy for her, like, oh, he's just amazing, like her family loved him in the videos, like they just thought he was perfect for her, is what from the wedding videos and like on Netflix, the documentary, they just said they were the perfect match, like this was like they were the perfect couple. And then, but his family did not like her. Like, his sister and his mom did not like her. Everybody described her as like she's a little bossy. Like, she was a little strong-willed. She was a little more the pants in the family kind of thing, is how it kind of seemed with her. So that kind of seemed like their dynamic. He seemed more of a pushover a little bit on that kind of thing, which that's just, an observation. So anyway, so she also, and the reason why she did Facebook so much, she sold Thrive, which is a weight loss thing, and so she made videos all the time and did lives all the time about her life and like selling, and so she had a lot of connections with Thrive, and she did. Okay, thank you so much for coming in, Bobby. I appreciate it. She did a lot of, she was really good at what she did, and so she had a lot of friends through that and everything, and yeah, and so that's what she did. She worked for Thrive, and he worked for Anadarko, and they went on, and from what they said, that she's originally from North Carolina, and then they moved to Colorado after they got married. They just fell in love with the area, and they lived in Fredericks, Colorado, I believe is the town, and he worked for Anadarko, and then so that's where they were living, and she was leading up to the murders. She was in North Carolina visiting her family for like 5 weeks, I believe, and that was a long time. And there was a bunch, and she was pregnant with their third child. There's this really cute video on that she posted of her telling him that she was pregnant. That was like, oops, we did it again. And he seemed really excited that they were going to have another baby. And yeah, and they had two older children. Cece, Catherine, her full name is Estelle Catherine Catherine Watts. They called her Cece, and then Bella Marie Watts. And So that was the two older girls' names. And then she was pregnant with a third child, and they said it was going to be a boy. And she really wanted it to be a boy because Chris wanted a boy. And so on this, when she was in North Carolina, she was like messaging her friends a lot about, she was really worried that their marriage was in trouble and that Chris was unhappy and that she thought he was having an affair and that there was just some things, like there was just a lot of things going on. You know, he would deny it and everything, but in the documentary on Netflix, you can see the text messages that she wrote to her friends. And then when he came to North Carolina, you know, he didn't even really like kiss her or touch her, and she was like, she was devastated. Anyway, so then she gets back home, and then she has to go to a conference for Thrive in Arizona, and she gets back August 13th, like at really late that evening. Her friend Nicole Atkins drops her off like late at night, and she was kind of worried about her because she couldn't hardly eat, and she knew that everything that was going on, and that she was really upset about Chris and everything. And then welcome in whoever just came in, and that things weren't going good for her and Chris, and she was just really worried that Chris was cheating on her, and she was just very concerned. Anyway, for Shanann. And Shanann had her doctor's appointment the next morning. And hello, welcome in, whoever just came in. How are you doing tonight? We are discussing Shanann Watts and Chris Watts and their two children. Hey, Joy, how are you? Are you having a good night? So that morning, so this is where, Nicole comes in to check on Shanann because she's concerned. She hasn't heard from her. She has messaged her, called her, nothing. And so Nicole calls the police and states that Shanann's 15 weeks pregnant. She hasn't heard from her, and that is really rare for her not to get back with her. And she's just really concerned about her because the night before she wasn't eating very well. Ooh, strawberry and banana shortcake. That sounds delicious. Hey, The Truth, how are you? Thank you so much for coming in. Are you having a good night? So, like I said, we're discussing Shanann and Chris Watts. Nope, we're just getting started. I was just kind of giving a little backstory on Shanann and Chris Watts, and we're just getting to the part where her friend, like the missing part. Okay, so we're good. You guys are good. So Nicole is at her house, and she called the cops. So Nicole dropped her off after a flight from Arizona, and Shanann wasn't answering her calls, and she had a doctor's appointment, and she missed that doctor's appointment for the baby. And so Nicole and her son goes to the Watts residence, and Shanann's car was there, parked in the garage, and the dog was inside, but nobody's there, and nobody's answering the door or anything. And so that just really kind of worried Nicole a lot, because that was unlike Shanann. And so she calls, and then she calls Chris, and she requests him to come home, and to check on Shanann. And when he gets there, you know, he, he's like really chatty, kind of nervous, and like the neighbor, he says like he's not acting like himself, like he's acting kind of weird, like that's not how he acts. Like he says that to the cops later on, like, because if you watch the Netflix series, like he literally will say like, oh, that's not how he acts. So when they check the doors, the front door, Nicole, they have to wait for him to show up because the police can't enter without the homeowner being there. So when they get there, the police, first they think that maybe she's with the grandparents, but they live in North Carolina, so that's not that can't be the case. So they, Chris shows up, he gets there, they go through room to room. So nothing's really out of place except for like the bedding. Let me get to that. So there's no noises. Celeste and Marie, they did not see anything through the windows and nothing out of ordinary. They checked and everything was locked up. Sorry, I was reading the comments, make sure I didn't miss anything, and then reading two things at the same time. Okay, so when they get in the house, no one was found in the residence. Chris did not come. He finds Nicole, he finds Shanann's wedding ring. He stated he found it on the nightstand. When Nicole asked him where Shannon's phone was, Chris went to the couch upstairs and he found it between the cushions, which Nicole says is weird because, she works from home and she's constantly needs her phone to do her business because that's what she does, is work from home. And so that would be out of character for Shanann to be without her phone. And then Christopher started going through, say that Shanann arrived home from the trip around pretty late that night. He was asleep at the time and he got up, got ready for work, and they began talking about them separating. He stated that it was a civil conversation and they were not arguing. It was emotional though, but they weren't fighting. Nobody was upset. And Christopher stated that they've been talking about separating for a few weeks. And Chris stated that he backed his truck up to the garage to load up his tools and left for work. And he stated that he had tools stolen from in the past, and that's why he brought his tools home from work. Which later on, the neighbor said that he wasn't allowed to park his truck on the driveway because Shanann hated that because his truck leaked oil. So he was never allowed to park his truck in the driveway. Ooh, Arby's. Arby's is so good. I love Arby's. Anyway, so Chris stated that Shanann was in bed at that time, and he stated that Shanann told him she was going to go to a friend's house for a play date with the kids, but he didn't know what friend it was. And Chris stated that he was going to go on a job site for work the next day. And, Oh, they're not good where you are? Okay, so he went to the job site.
Amy,
Yes. Hold on. Yes.
did you tell him about your hungry love tunnel?
No.
It's hungry as fuck.
Okay, moving on. Okay. Sorry. No, that is the guy I'm dating. I am not married. Anyway, and then sorry, I totally lost my place now. So that he went on the job site to check on it, and Chris stated that he was there alone for a few hours, and he was adamant that he had done something and was headed to check the GPS on his truck, because his work truck. Oh, well, thank you for saying that. So he's a lucky guy. Okay, so then the detective Brumhover checked the residence thoroughly. Shanann's purse and wallet and phone, her phone. Nothing suspicious was inside the house. The vehicles gave the appearance of an altercation, though. Hey, Jamie, how are you? Are you having a good night? Okay, and then the master bed. So this is like some of the things that was kind of like, okay, so this is like a little suspicious. So the master bed comforter, sheets, and pillows were removed, and the fitted sheets was next to the comforter on the floor, and the pillows were on the other side of the bed. But they couldn't find the top sheet anywhere. And Nicole stated that Shanann works from home, and extremely unusual for her to leave her without her phone, and because she does direct sales. And then the neighbors also observed someone coming from the east. Anyway. Oh. Jamie's just very sweet. She, Anyway, so that was really suspicious. And it also showed that there was a neighbor that had a surveillance video showing the front of Chris's and Shanann's house, and it showed him loading up the vehicle with like like when he was talking about loading up the tools. So it showed that. And Chris's truck is observed backing into the driveway before, and it leaves a short time later. The vehicle comes and going. The garage door, the residence was checked, and it did not open from the outside. You are not messing me up at all. It's, reading notes and trying to do your makeup at the same time, sometimes you just lose your place. Hey, Shelly, how are you? I would think that house would be haunted. I would not want to live there after what happened there. At all. I mean, that would be the scariest place. I don't know. I would not want to sleep there. Actually, I think they say that I don't think that house sold very, like, If I remember correctly, I don't think the house sold very easily. You would live there? You would want to live in their house? I don't think I could. I don't know. That would be so bad. Okay, so Chris did give consent to search Shanann's phone. He gave consent for them to search the house. You know, and the whole time he acted weird. How many of you seen the Netflix show? Bobby did. Jamie, did you watch it? Shelly, did you watch the show? I'm just saying, like, he acted weird the whole entire time. I mean, he was just a weirdo. Like, he's an ass. He's a piece of shit. Yeah. Well, I mean, it made the news. I mean, I heard the story before I saw the documentary. So I heard it a long time ago. And then, you know, it's just horrible what happened. Yes, I've seen podcasts on it too. Oh, yeah. So Krisha and okay, so this was something that is so weird. Like, if you see videos of him on, like, you know, all his before when they still think she's missing and everything, he doesn't not seem very concerned. Like, he did an interview with the police station, and he's like, if somebody has them, you know, he didn't seem overly concerned that his wife and his pregnant wife and his two daughters are missing. You know, you are blue. I figured that would make you very happy. I hope it made your night. You are blue. Yeah. He was, because he knew where they were the whole time. He was not concerned. Okay, Nicole said that they both felt Chris was extremely nervous. Nathaniel, that's Nicole's son, said he heard Chris yelling at Shanann numerous times. Like, and then, of course, people made false statements that they saw Shanann so that they could, you know, get reward money. So there is a lot of false statements because there always is weirdos that want to try to get some free cash. So, you know, shame on them. So on August 15th, 2018, Chris was arrested and he failed a polygraph. Horribly failed a polygraph, I should say. I mean, like, on the documentary, they knew that he was going to fail this. Like, it was, I mean, he should have been embarrassed. You're gonna go dance on the ceiling because I made you a mod? Like, I didn't know I had that much power to make you that happy. Okay. So he confessed to murdering Shanann. After they told him, they're like, look, you failed. But he didn't, he said that he didn't murder the girls. He said Shanann did, and he, like, went into a rage and killed her and strangled her. which, like, are you kidding? Like, but before he did that, he asked to talk to his dad, and then, you know, then it all came, then that's when he came up with this story that he only killed Shanann and not the two girls. So he didn't confess to killing the two girls right away. He just confessed to killing Shanann basically because she killed the two girls. Yeah. Yeah. He blamed her for killing the girls. But then it came out later on that he was having an affair with Nicole. Not the friend Nicole. That's good Nicole. And there's another Nicole that he worked with. But while he's getting a polygraph, she is like basically telling them everything that went down. So let me jump to that. This is what Nicole Kissinger said about their affair. So basically, she's already like singing like a canary. Because he didn't tell her that, you know, that Shanann was pregnant. So she found out on the news that she was pregnant and that he lied to her about that. So she's like, what? I'm trying to figure out what palette I should use. He did it on his own. Like he did not have help. Like he's just a cold-blooded killer who wanted, I mean, I think he did feel remorse, to be honest. I think he just wanted out of his marriage to be with this. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. Jamie's right. I mean, actually, I say that, and all of these are pieces of shit. He's really a piece of shit. So, okay. So, after he killed them, he FaceTimed his girlfriend, and he's laying on the bed, and all the sheets and bedding's off the bed, and he's like, hey. And he's like, oh, they were all smelly and dirty. And she's like, oh, that's weird. I'm laughing because it's just weird that he would like get done killing everybody and then call his girlfriend. Like, is that not awkward? Like, hey, how are you doing? Just murdered my whole family. It's weird. It's weird. He's a piece of shit. Who all agrees with me? Yes, they do. Yes, they do have the and they even have like the after, like what happened after. They have that on camera. Like the neighbors have surveillance on cameras, and so they can see him loading. So anyway, so he FaceTimed her. Nicole thought that was really weird, and then he also said that he was going to go to a work site and check some things because some things weren't working right on a certain oil site. And she's like, that's weird. That's not your job. Like, that's weird that you're going out there. That would be somebody else's job. And, you know, she didn't think, she's like, that's just kind of bizarre. Like, weird. And so she's in there. And then she also tried to delete all the information on her phone after she found everything out. But then she took it to the cops. They were able to retrieve everything. And their first date happened the day before Father's Day. They started talking, you know, at work. And that's, you know, when everything started with them. And then Nicole said that they, you know, when he was very outgoing with her and, you know, he was more relaxed with her. And, you know, Nicole said that they would go to his house when Shanann obviously wasn't there. They went there twice, and both times was very brief. She did not feel comfortable at the house. I mean, really? She said that she didn't want to be there. She felt uncomfortable that it was someone else's life and exists, so she did not want to be there. Nicole said that she was under the impression that they were taking their time selling the house. The first time Nicole went there was helping Chris set up fitness apps on his phone. Yes, I've seen that video. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that she went there. Nicole questioned him why he would leave, his life, and why he would, she would question him, like, why do you want to leave this? Why would you leave Shanann for, you have a great life, you have 2 beautiful daughters, blah, blah, blah. And, she felt bad about not waiting for the divorce to be final. And, he would be like, oh, don't worry about it. I love you. Things that guys lie about to girls to get them, to cheat, whatever. Anyway, so she tried to call it off a couple of times and said, why don't you try working it out with your wife? Go to counseling. He didn't want to, that kind of thing. And so Shanann did accuse him of having an affair, and he denied it. Right? I kind of agree with you. I mean, she could have stopped, but she didn't. But she did not know that Shanann was pregnant, and that, and Nicole said she did not know Shanann was pregnant, like I said, and Chris would use gift cards when he would go out with his mistress, so that way that there was no money trail. Is that not bizarre? That is so weird. Nicole said, yeah, he would use money card, like gift cards. I mean, that's just weird. Okay, so then he okay. So back to the charges. So, yes. So he went to North Carolina, like she was there for 5 weeks, and then the last week before she came back. I know that is a red flag, Jamie. You are right. Piece of shit. Piece of shit. So he was there. She was there for 5 weeks, and then he came the last week, and then she went to Arizona for a business trip the night before she was murdered. She got back late, and then when she got back, he says they got into a discussion that wasn't an argument, but it was a discussion. It was emotional, but they weren't arguing. They were talking about separation, but they weren't. They didn't argue. Whatever. I'm sure they were arguing, and that's probably why. I'm so glad you're here too. Okay, and so then when he finally confessed to everything, this is what happened. he he killed Shanann first, and then he put her body in the car, and the girls were still alive, and he put them in the car, and he drove them out to the work site, and he buried her in a shallow grave. Which, those poor girls, and you know, they're asking for their mom. That's what just makes me sick. Like, they're crying. I know, me too, Shelly. Like, I love these stories. And I have so many ideas for future ones. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. So they're like crying for their mom, and then he takes like them, and then he puts them in like the oil, whatever they're called, the oil contain, you know, oil. What are they called? Did I write it down? The oil tanks. I don't know why I was making that so complicated. The oil tanks. So he put the little girls in the oil tanks, and that's where he put them. And they were still alive as he was putting them in there. Piece of shit. He just, so disgusting. Ugh. So he dumped them there. And then, so then, yeah, the barrels. Yep. Truth says barrels. They said oil tank. Yeah, barrels, tanks, whatever. You guys know me. I can't talk half the time. Okay, so then Chris was charged August 21st. Was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder, and he pled guilty to the murders on November 6th. And the death penalty, which I'll read this and then I'll ask you guys' thoughts. Yeah, he let them suffocate. He let them suffocate in oil. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, their father, their last memory is their father stuffing him in that. I mean, I feel like me and Jamie already summed him up. I mean, you probably can't say what you really think of him. Yeah, they drowned in oil. He's disgusting. Yeah. Yeah, he's horrible. He's a horrible human being. So the death penalty, Shanann's parents asked the judge not to seek the death penalty. They said that enough people have died, and they did not want the death penalty to be given to him because they felt like enough people have already died. So the death penalty was not given to him. So he didn't get it. So what do you guys think about that? That her parents showed him mercy when a lot of people would not. I mean, I don't know. If somebody, I don't know. As a mom, if somebody killed my kids, I don't know. I don't think I would have been so nice, to be honest. Like, that is just horrible what he did to them. I don't think I could have done it either. I mean, he's just, hey, Zach, how are you? That was horrible what he did. Yeah. I know. I know. I just think that I mean, that just shows. I mean, that her parents were very. That was very nice of her parents, but I just don't know if I could show that much mercy to somebody that did that to my kid and my granddaughter. You know, that's horrible. That you're fine, Zach. I know you're busy. You don't have to apologize. It is fine. I just appreciate the thought that you made me one. You take your time. It is fine. I know that she begged him not to do it. And I don't see how it could not break his heart. But you know, he has to live with that for the rest of his life. And hopefully that's punishment enough. But okay, so this is his sentence. Because he did. I mean, he's going to be in prison forever. I agree. I mean, in this case, in some cases I'm like, but to be honest, when it's children involved, I kind of do think the death penalty. And I know that sounds kind of, but sometimes it's like, I don't know, there's something when it's kids. It's just like, oh, how could you take a kid's life? It's just blows my mind, especially like this case, like it's his own kids. Right? Yo, Adrian. True. I mean, yeah, the death penalty is kind of an easy way out too, though. So his sentence was, let me read the sentence really quick. Because he did get a really big sentence. Okay. So November 19th, he was sentenced to 5 life sentences, 3 consecutive and 2 concurrent, without possibility of parole. He received an additional 48 years unlawful termination of Shanann's pregnancy and 36 years for 3-year charges of tampering with deceased body. His sentence began immediately. So, I mean, he's never. I feel like that is a good. He doesn't deserve to see the light of day. I mean, no, life isn't good for him. I mean, how could you do that to your kids? Those are his kids. I mean, like when his one child was begging him not to do that. It's just horrible. Okay, so like I said, she had. I don't know if you guys ever seen. No, he shouldn't be able to breathe. She had a Facebook page, and now you can go to it and see the tribute. And you can still see all the pictures that she posted and all her Facebook posts. So I did look it up because I wanted to see it. And it's just Shanann Watts, if you guys are interested to check it out. And you wouldn't believe how many people, there's people that say mean things about her. And that say horrible stuff that, that she pushed him to it or stuff like that. I cannot believe that people think that that people would say that kind of stuff. I just couldn't believe that when I read some of like the comments on her page. I was like, oh, are you serious? I think that he was a horrible person, and I know some of the serial killers. Well, and like some of the like serial killers, they'll have like fangirls that will like write them love letters, and some of them will want to marry them. Isn't that creepy? Is that not the weirdest thing? No, I don't know if there was anybody else there. I know that they got it on camera, like of him putting that, but I don't think that there was anybody with him. You know, but I didn't, but I'm not for sure. I mean, I didn't watch everything. Like, there's so much information on this case, you know. If you seen it, send it to me and let me see it. The truth, that's funny. I don't know what is wrong with him. Like the Richard Ramirez, he had fangirls and he was gross. Like, ugh. Ugh. But they all do. Like, why? Why would they have fangirls? Yeah, watch it on Netflix. And there's a bunch of them that are really good ones on Netflix. So anybody have any comments about this case? Any thoughts on, what do you guys think of the mistress? I mean, do you think that she's like completely, like that she didn't know about the pregnancy? Like, what's your thoughts? Well, a lot of people, I mean, there is speculation that like Nicole, like about the bad Nicole, but she's never been charged with anything. You know, so I don't know. And I'm not going to say, because I'm not, so you can't say that she knew. But I know I don't know, I haven't seen anything that she's been charged with anything. But I know I've read a lot that people really think she did have a lot more to do with it than what she said. But that's opinions, like, you know, that she wasn't completely innocent in it. I don't know. But she sure did turn on him really quick. Because she was the one that turned on him. Like, the minute. Yeah, but she turned on him really super quick. Because she, like, he's in there doing the polygraph, and she's in there telling the cops everything. So if she did have a hand on it and she knew it was about to come down, she decided to save her own butt and get the heck out of Dodge. So she sure didn't stand by him for long. But I know that they haven't had a lot of proof to get to like charge her with anything. You know. She did sing. She is told everything. I'm sure he would have. Well, and I don't know, he just seemed, I mean, he was just like, I don't know. I don't think the mistress was that pretty. Like, his wife was way prettier. Shanann was really pretty. I cannot talk and put on eyeliner at the same time. Anybody else, or is it just me? You think that she knew everything? How many of you think that she knew everything? How many of you don't think she knew everything? I don't know if his plan, do you think he planned to kill her in the heat of the moment, or it was planned out like it was first degree? I mean, because it's like crime and passion type thing, or he planned it out. She knew that. You think it was planned. So you think it was first degree, right? First degree is planned out, right? So, yeah, I do think it's. Yeah, first degree. Which first degree does carry more weight. I think you get more. Like that is worse. I still think it's what. I just think it's horrible what he did to his kids. I mean, Shanann too, but like to sit there and put them in the oil vats and everything. I'm just. I know. Well, she was, when in North Carolina, when he showed up, she texted her friend and said he didn't even kiss, like he only kissed her on camera. And she, she was expecting for him to like want her, and he wouldn't even, like, she said no ass grab, no kisses, no nothing. Okay, that's fine, Zach. And she said that, because she's messaging her friend, she said that she, like, all she wanted him to do was like, like show interest in her and get it on with her, and he wouldn't even, like, nothing. Like, he hasn't seen her in like 4 or 5 weeks, and he wasn't like into her. Like, that broke her heart. And before she left for Arizona, she wrote him this letter. You'll see it in the documentary if you watch it. Like, how much she loves him, how much she wants to work on things, and how excited she is about the baby. And just, like, this is like, you know, she's really trying to work on their marriage and like she's putting it out there. And he's just not like, you know, he's checked out. He's in love with this other chick. So, I mean, yeah, so that was kind of like, I can't believe that he, you know, I don't know. I just think that he's a horrible person. Okay, so I'm gonna need to set my face. This is pretty much my finished look. What do you guys think? How do I look? I don't think he was either. I think he was, I just think he was a narcissist. And I think that he was selfish. I mean, to do that to your own kids. I mean, he probably would have done the same thing to Nicole when he found somebody else to replace her. But I mean, he does show, I mean, after he got caught, and like, I think there's a video of him like of everybody talking about the crime, like, you know, like years later talking about it, and he does show remorse. I mean, but he should show remorse. I mean, he killed his kids. So maybe there is a little bit of remorse for what he's done, but who knows? Anyways, so do you guys have any suggestions on stories you want to hear next? You guys can comment below. That would be awesome. I will write them down. Did you guys enjoy tonight's story? Let me know. Because I really love doing these. These are so much fun. I know, you know, a little too late. Good night, Joy. Good night. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm getting ready to get off here too. The story's over. So my look is done. Thank you guys so much for coming tonight and hanging out with me and listening to the story. And I will see you guys next Friday is slumber party. And then, so the Friday after that, we'll have another murder and makeup story. So stay tuned for that. All right. Well, thank you so much, Shelly. I loved you coming in. And I will see you guys next Friday for summer party. And then murder makeup after that. All right. Bye. Good night. You guys have a good weekend. All right. Bye.